How we doing, everybody? Happy Friday. Um, WrestleMania weekend right here in Los Angeles. I just also wanted to go through something I didn't get to go through yesterday. One of my favorite yearly projects that I do. And that is, you can see it right here, predictions for the baseball season. I'm going to just do a little walkthrough. Think it is fitting. Something, like I said, I love to do this every year. NBA, NHL, NFL, and this. This is how I think everything's going to play out this year for baseball. So AL Central, Chicago White Sox, 90 wins, 72 losses. Think they're going to come back from last year. A lot of stuff going on with La Russa not feeling well, leading to whatever it did. Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Lance Lynn missed 3 months of the season. Jose Abreu was banged up a lot of last year, played through it. Andrew Vaughn didn't get to play a lot. Eloy Jimenez hurt 2 months. Liam Hendricks was hurt for a month and a half or two. The guys that they needed were always injured. It was ridiculous. It was insane last year, and it was insane the year before. The year before, they were able to overcome it. They were not able to last year. I expect a bounce back this year. Cleveland Guardians, second place, 88 and 74. Still think they're going to be a very good team. Terry Francona, this is his last year before he retires. And then there could potentially be some change over there in Cleveland. But they got a good roster. They got a deep farm system. They're going to be tough. But they will be one of my wild card teams this year. Third, I'm going to actually put the Kansas City Royals over the Minnesota Twins. They will be fourth. Royals are going to go 78 and 84. The Twins are going to go 74 and 88. I like Kansas City's core a little bit better. Minnesota, I felt, was extremely desperate in trying to keep Carlos Correa. He tried to leave them twice, and both times he ended up getting reverted back to the Twins. So that shows you what Correa thinks of them. And it also shows you that they really didn't have any other options. So I really believe Kansas City has more youth. I think they're upcoming. I think the Twins, honestly, can only go down from here until they really start subtracting from what they've had. It just has not worked in Minnesota. Their pitching, I think Kansas City's pitching's better. The offenses can be similar, but I really like the way the Royals play more, and I think getting rid of Mike Matheny was a huge improvement. Matt Quatrero coming over from Tampa Bay, I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think. And that puts us with the Detroit Tigers in fifth, 70 and 92. AJ Hinch ain't it. I've tried saying that for 3 years now, even longer than that. He is not the best manager that people think he is. It does not matter what kind of talent you put there. He has had multiple chances to be a great manager, and he has shown time and time again that he's just a guy. He's just another coach. The Tigers had all this youth. Spencer Torkelson was supposed to come up last year and dominate. He struggled so badly. I mean, when you're talking about maybe Riley Green being your best player or Jonathan Scope, I think you have a lot of issues. And it's going to be a tougher season again for the Tigers. Their young pitching can really keep them in games, though if you can't score the runs needed, your pitching's not always going to matter. So that's what I have there. Going over to the AL West, who else? As much as I want to go with another team, you just can't. Houston Astros, first place, 96 and 66. They got my guy Abreu, my buddy, to line up with that championship core team. How can you not love them again? I mean, how can you not think they're going to do it again? So I definitely have Houston in first. They keep everybody. Altuve will be back in a couple months. They did lose Verlander. I still think guys will step up for their pitching, and they'll get the job done. Second place, Seattle Mariners. I think I'm going to have them coming down a little bit, though, in the wins. Instead of them being in the 90s, I'm going to put them at 87 and 75. They will be my second wild card team in the American League. So I think that with everything they have, and another year, Robbie Ray, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, they have incredible starting pitching. The bullpen is a little bit shaky. Diego Castillo is a guy to look at there. Paul Sewand, Anthony Munoz. They have some guys in the bullpen that can be really good, high velocity type guys, and good stuff. But I just think other than that, It'll be a wild card. They're just not going to be able to get up to Houston. Third, Texas Rangers, 79 and 83. They'll be better than last year. They have more players now than they did before. Every year it seems like they get another big player. They get somebody else to buy in. And Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy is going to change the culture. He's going to get this team believing and doing a lot better than what they should be. They could even be a year ahead of schedule. So watch out for them. Fourth place, Los Angeles Angels. I just think with everything going on with the team, they added some really nice depth pieces. They did some good moves, though this team has to stay healthy. And that's very hard for them to do lately. If they're not able to stay healthy in that division, it's just not going to look good. I have them at 76 and 86. It would be an improvement from last year, though with all this Shohei Ohtani stuff going on too, you have to really, really be careful. And there's a lot at stake for this team, as I know, obviously. And then fifth place, Oakland Athletics, 64 and 98. They're just in not a good spot at all. This is a team that is going to be on the verge of moving, most likely to Las Vegas. Hopefully it does. At least for me, I hope it happens for the game. Makes too much sense with the Raiders being over there. And then also the Las Vegas Aviators, the AAA team for the A's is there. Just a natural fit. Hopefully it happens in the next couple of years. I would feel terrible for the city of Oakland to lose a third team in about 5 years. But the city's not doing anything. They don't care. They don't want to keep their teams. They gave up. It's an awful situation. But I have them running it, and there's not many players left. They even just traded Christian Pash the other day, and he was supposed to be their center fielder of the future. And he already is gone now. What does that show you? AL East, Toronto Blue Jays, number 1, 97 and 65. That core and everything they added is just so dominant. They're going to have more. But seriously, Bo Bichette, Vlad Jr., Alejandro Kirk, Jose Barrios is going to have a rebound. Matt Chapman, I would expect to have a rebound year. Dalton Varsho from Arizona. They traded Lourdes Gurriel for him. That's going to work. They don't have Teoscar Hernandez anymore, but I still think they'll get around that just fine. George Springer, if he could stay healthy. This is a phenomenal team. A great group that got a taste of the playoffs last year. They lost. Now they know what it's like to advance a little bit more. So I'll definitely pick Toronto over the New York Yankees, who are my second place team and my wild card as well. They are my first wild card seed. The Guardians are my second, and the Mariners would be my third. Yankees they're in that strange mode right now because, yes, they have Garrett Cole. They have Carlos Rodon. He is hurt again. This is why the White Sox didn't re-sign Rodon. You don't know what he's going to be. I love the guy. Watching him throw that no-hitter, I'll never forget it. I was there live for it. This poor guy can't stay healthy. The wear and tear on his arm is at a maximum. And he's had 2 phenomenal dream seasons. But other than that, it's just been a lot of up and down. And then, Stanton's getting older. A lot of pressure on Judge. LeMahieu's getting older. He's not doing it the same anymore. And I want to see what the outfield. I really want to see what it's going to look like there. Harrison Bader's over there now. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Anthony Volpe, a rookie shortstop. It's going to be fun in New York, but they're still good enough to pull off a 20 win over 500 record. 3, I'm going to go Tampa Bay Rays at 85 and 77. They always scrap a good season together. They develop the right way. They draft phenomenally. Tremendous front office. I just think Toronto and New York are just that much better, and it's going to be very hard to scrap together 90-plus wins in that division when there's already 2 teams that I have that are over 90 wins. You got to love the Rays starting pitching. They always have guys in the bullpen, too. Firehausen, they have Adam, who is on Team USA. They have, Manuel Margot in the outfield. G-Man Choi they traded away. You got to really like this team. Randy Arozarena's there. He's pretty much their poster guy now. Drew Rasmussen. I like the team. McClanahan, just not good enough for the top of the AL East. Boston Red Sox, I'm going to go 4. They had a terribly disappointing season last year. I don't think they're going to be that much better this year. I just think they will be better because they have Justin Turner, very high character guy, great clubhouse guy. Kenley Jansen, now they have a real closer. They did not have that last year at all. They had Matt Barnes and multiple other guys trying to close games that didn't work. So I think that will help them. They can score a lot of runs. They have always had the offense to be able to score. Just the pitching is going to hurt them. And Chris Sale being back, I think he will pitch more, though. Is that really going to be the way that they get over the top? Hard to say that. This one hurts. The Baltimore Orioles I have in last at 79 and 83. They were 83 and 79 last year. They completely overachieved. They're way ahead of schedule. Adley Rutschman, Cedric Mullins. They now have Kyle Gibson, Cole Irvin in the rotation. More young guys coming up. Jorge Mateo at shortstop. I really like their team. It's just I don't think they're there yet. And they're still in an awfully hard division. It's going to be so hard to overcome those 4 other teams. So I am going to give them a little bit of a regressed year, though I think they'll be in contention, in serious contention, probably in the next 3 to 4 years. They'll be right up there. Will depend on free agency, though, in the trade market. It kicks us over to the National League. Let's go to the NL Central with the St. Louis Cardinals. 92 and 70. St. Louis is a definition of a top organization, world class in drafting and developing. They always get players. They always get results. Arenado and Goldschmidt in the same lineup. A couple rookies now with Walker. Dylan Carlson's coming along a lot better now. The pitching's actually going to be the question. Wainwright, the bullpen, can Gallegos do it again? Can Helsley do it again? Starting rotation is really it. This is it for Wainwright. No more Yadier Molina now. No more Albert Pujols. It's going to be a bit of a clubhouse change for Oliver Marmol and company, but they're still good enough to win first place. Milwaukee Brewers, I'm putting at second place, 87 and 75. I really like the team. I expect a bounce back year from Christian Yelich. Corbin Burns is phenomenal. I have a feeling he's going to be getting traded, though, at some point. I just don't think the long-term thing's working out there. They still do have Brandon Woodruff and Freddie Peralta. They have a nasty bullpen with Devin Williams. There's some really great pieces in Milwaukee. And they still have Craig Counsell. They still got David Stearns there. Helps out a lot to have continuity and familiarity. 3, the Chicago Cubs. I'm going to go 80 and 82. This would be a huge upgrade and improvement for this season to last. Them being right around 500, I think is their goal, if not even a little bit better. A lot of people are picking them over 500. I just can't do it just yet because I need to see how it all works with all the new guys. They got to get a year to mix in the vets with the young players. But Jamison Tyon, Eric Hosmer, Dansby Swanson, a lot of different players that they brought in there. Trey Mancini, great clubhouse, winners, and everything else, which is exactly what you need when you're trying to develop more guys. So I will go them at third place. 4th, Pittsburgh Pirates, and 5th, Cincinnati Reds. 64 and 98 for the Reds, 66 and 96 for Pittsburgh. These two teams are in the middle of complete chaos right now, nonstop rebuilding, it feels like, for both of these teams lately. The Reds are seriously lacking pitching. They're definitely lacking a lot of offense now. It will help in their ballpark. We'll see what happens, how it goes there. Spencer Steer, going to be interesting to see his season. He is really somebody that the team needs to get going. Will Myers, among other, Jonathan India. But the pitching, Nick Lodolo is pretty much their number 2 behind Hunter Green at 1. Hunter Green should be fantastic. And for the Pirates, there's just not much left. They got Rich Hill in their rotation now. Vince Velasquez. They did bring back Andrew McCutchen, which is a nice story. Though other than that, it's going to be a tough season. I mean, there's just not much left for them there. Which brings us to the NL West now with the San Diego Padres coming in first place for me, 98 and 64. This is my opinion for the best team in the league, record-wise for the regular season. What more can you say? And I expect them to make more more moves in the season. I think at the trade deadline, leading up to the trade deadline, they're going to add even more. But I mean, you're talking about a team literally with just nonstop star power and everything else. Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, Josh Hader, Fernando Tatis is back. Manny Machado's signed long term again. Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth now moves over to first base. Trent Grisham is still there. This Juan Soto. This team is just up and down the list. They have about everything. Question would be probably the bullpen. I would say the bullpen would be one of the places, if not the back end of the starting rotation. But I mean, really, Blake Snell, and they lost Mike Clevenger to the White Sox. But I mean, other than that, it's like they have everything they need. And this is an aggressive owner and the coach, front office. They're going to make sure that they're in first place. So it's going to be fun to watch them carry and go forth in 2023. Second place, the Los Angeles Dodgers, 90-72. This is going to be one of my wild cards in the playoffs for the NL. They are preparing to go after Shohei Ohtani if he's available. We know that. So are the Padres. So are the Mets. Maybe the Cubs. Maybe the San Francisco Giants. It is going to be a lot of fun for these teams to get into a bidding war with each other. Even if it's not Shohei, if it's just other players, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. But the Dodgers, it's just, they got Syndergaard. You don't really know about him anymore now. He's getting really up there in his age. And can his arm hang on anymore? Can he keep pitching the way that he did before? And it's very hard to say that. He had an awesome run with the Angels for a little while last year, and then he just faded out. Fatigue caught up and everything else. Though they still have Mookie Betts. They did lose Trey Turner and Max Scherzer all in 2 years apart from that big trade they did. That hurts. Dodgers are not used to moves like that, where they don't hold on to players they acquire. Though they got some young guys now. They got Miguel Vargas, and they have a couple other guys. Outman is another name to watch. They are a winning organization, and I do expect that they'll keep that going and figure it out. Still a lot of good players. Still have Freddie Freeman. Gavin Lux is out for the year, though they got JD Martinez at least when they lost Justin Turner. I like this team. I like the team not as much as before. Still like them, though. Third place, San Francisco Giants, 82-80. They were 500 last year. I'm giving them one game better. They need a lot from Joey Bart taking over from Buster Posey still. Logan Webb has been great for them for the last 2 years as their starting pitching number one guy. It's like other than that, though, I really look at the rotation. I think it's up and down, as is with their bullpen. They don't have Brandon Belt anymore. He is now with Toronto. This is just a big question mark. They have Mitch Haniger. They have Theo Estrada. There's a few guys there that you can really look at. No more Evan Longoria. He's with Arizona now. It's just such a limbo year. Sean Manaea was a nice add. Michael Conforto coming over there now. Just not enough, though, in this NL West. Which brings us to fourth place, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 79-83. They're still up and coming. They're not there yet. They have a lot of youth. Joe McCarthy in the outfield, stolen base guy. Ketel Marte at second base. I love Ketel Marte. Christian Walker at first base, a boomstick bat. Hits 40 home runs a year and 100 RBIs. The guy is just a machine home run guy. And, the pitching. They still have Madison Bumgarner. He's hanging in there by a thread, pretty much. He's just getting so old now. And he really gets hit hard now. The rest of the team, other than that, it's a lot of youth. It's a lot of hope. Corbin Carroll, perhaps the number one prospect, rookie of the year for the NL this year. Going to expect a lot from him. Just tough to be Arizona with, they're about 2 to 3 years away also from really starting to make some noise. Colorado Rockies, fifth place, 69-93. They're multiple years away from making noise, and who knows when they start trading players or they start losing players or anything else. They just have a lot of players that they need. They still have Chris Bryant there. It's still new in the contract. He just is really hurt a lot now. And other than that, they just seriously are lacking depth. They're lacking pitching, and they're lacking even some hitting now, too. Usually most of the time, I commend their lineup and how strong and great they are, usually with CJ Crone and everything. But it's just going to be very, very challenging now. NL East is the last division. New York Mets, I'm putting at 195-67. One game better than the Atlanta Braves at 94-68, who are my other wild card team. They are my first wild card, and the Dodgers are my second wild card. The Mets have just... Steve Cohen has opened up a whole new opportunity there. He has brought so much to this team, so much to this franchise that the Wilpon family never did. This guy wants to win. He loves it, loves and breathes the Mets, and he's going to keep doing everything he can. Cody Senga, Max Scherzer there still, Justin Verlander, my gosh, I mean, Pete Alonso, all the moves that they make, David Robertson. It is just fantastic watching this team get all these players and seeing how it goes. It's like a Padres situation. It really is. The Mets and the Padres, I mean, it's why they played each other in the playoffs last year. They match up great for a reason. They